It takes women down. Love, love, this love has captured me. Love, love, is if
Go ahead and invite folks.
you have called my name, now I am yours. You have touched my heart, I'm not the same. And you have set me forth right from my mother's womb. Love, 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 this love has captured me. Love, love makes eyes love.
Happy you love?
I loves. I loves. I've heard how many songs this evening. I just feel like sleeping here.
Yeah, in the studio you should listen to good music.
Yeah, but it will be good to take the good music to when you release the good music, so you can listen to it in worship. You can listen to it at home. You can listen to it anywhere. I've heard this is the fourth one I've heard.
Yeah.
And each one is massive piece.
You're welcome once again. Welcome.
Thank you.
Nice
Thank you
to
very
have
much,
you.
guys. Thank you.
Nice to have you. I think for me, in my mind and in my heart, I I'm speaking with a legend. Well, to me, that's how that's the only way I know you. I know you to be, there are a lot of legends on TV and books. I haven't met any, of those ones, but this is a legend that I have touched and I have felt, and so I'm satisfied with this legend than the ones in books. And so help me welcome my own legend, my legend. And the reason is, I thank God for all the things that happened before I met Jesus. But actually, for me, life got activated, when I met Jesus. Real life started when I met Jesus. And when I met Jesus, you were one of those few pictures of hope that we kept seeing, and 15, 16 years down the line, and you're way, greater than what I, so
I'm
and so as I'm going to quiz you, and the funny thing is that I really do not have maybe I have two questions in mind.
Okay.
But I'm trusting that we can just have a whole lot of, there's a new generation that is out there.
Yeah.
And I already know your passion for us, your desire for us.
Yeah.
And so I know that you speak to us from your heart. In fact, I was thinking about this broadcast all night, that I asked you a question in my dream. And so my phone screen is bad. It just went bad today.
Okay.
Like completely bad today. And so I can't see what I wrote, but I wish I can see it. I would have just read it the way I
Okay.
dreamt it, but I ask it. But I ask it maybe 15 minutes to the end of the conversation.
Okay.
So let me ask, do you have any? What do you plan to do? Like, do you have an expectation for this talk?
So any time I go into this kind of talk, I always want to leave with something.
Okay.
So in all honesty, I give, I look forward to giving, but I also look forward to receiving. And especially in this house,
Okay.
I always anytime I come here, I always take something away with me.
Okay.
So my expectation is that we will talk,
Okay.
which is
All right.
face, nothing,
Fantastic.
nothing under the table, but also that we are not dressing anything up,
Okay.
as it
Okay.
is. And I would also like, which is why I said maybe I'm the one interviewing you, because I would like us to discuss.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll, but I've really looked forward to this. I've played it over in my mind time and time again.
Okay.
And therefore, I'm looking forward to a very exciting chat, and I hope the people at home who are listening are also looking forward.
Are you guys looking for? Let me see your responses here. I'm following up your responses. Anytime you want to ask a question, I'm here with the phone. And so please go ahead and invite someone. Make sure we have all the men in the building. Okay, Pastor Tunji, I want us to start this way. I want you to kind of describe yourself and your experiences. I know there's a whole lot, but like the summary of your journey, life, spiritual career and family, and just maybe we just start from there.
Okay, so I was born into a family of 5 boys, four boys, two girls.
7.
Yes.
Wow.
6.
4 boys, 2
2
girls.
girls.
6.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what I bless God for is that the environment. So we're a kind of family where kind of old school.
Okay.
So those kind of families where you love each other, but you express the love not in the typical cards, or holding each other or doing all of those kind of things.
Someone one of our church members came to visit me in the studio and gave me a card, and this card is so precious to me because I've never, when last did I ever get a card? So I kept it here, and it makes me feel loved.
Exactly, because growing up, we knew that our parents love us, and they show that they love us. But we were not that kind of overtly expressive, and that is a positive, but there's also a negative part of it, because sometimes if you're not careful as a man, then you then find it difficult to express
love.
So you're kind of caged in because that's how you grew up.
Okay.
But what is important is that that your parents love you, because you saw the expression of love at different intervals. So growing up in that family, father, civil servant. So
was it at that place in Loring when
it was? So So that was not the place.
Okay.
It was I was born actually in a place called Egbe.
Okay.
And that is another story. Guys, you need to go and look at Egbe, or go online and check a place called Egbe, because
that's in Kwara State.
In Kwara State, yes. Egbe was a place where the story about the church called the Sudan Interior Mission, or SIM, which later became Equa Church, is a place where you could see footprints of the church through missionaries. Missionaries like Titcomb, who came from Canada.
I heard about Chris Delvan used to talk about it, about Titcomb.
Exactly. So we got that first hand.
Wow.
So this is the man who went to the Yagba people, was sent to the Yagba people as a missionary.
Wow.
And when he got to the place, he was working with intermediaries to translate the gospel to the people.
Wow.
The people were fetish, as it were. They were sacrificing twin children, even in that community.
Wow.
So when he came in, he went to the traditional ruler. They had a chief, and then someone was always interpreting. But do you know the first thing that this guy did? He learned the language. He learned the language, and the language in Yagba is Yoruba, but it's a different. So, for example, imagine if I want to say my father. So I would, in typical Yoruba, you say what Baba. In that language, you say Okwem.
Wow.
Exactly.
Wow.
So he learned the language.
Wow.
And he started to minister in that language.
Wow.
And for the people, the reason a lot of them connected with the gospel of Jesus was first because they saw raw love.
Wow.
And they saw someone who was a representation of someone who gave up his life and came. And then the first thing is to then learn our language. And subsequently, it stopped them. There was an evil place, like an evil forest. He stopped them from killing twins. He did all of those things.
Wow.
So I grew up in that environment, that kind of church environment. We were always, very conscious of ethics, conscious of Christianity, and all of that. But my faith and really being born again, I'm like Bishop Otabil, who said that he gave his life to Christ, or maybe 50 times or 60 times, and he knew that in one of those times is when it really because he so at different times growing up in those days, yes, we were morally okay and correct, but we then were not really personally didn't know Christ in that manner. But thank God for that love and growing up, and then subsequently grew and started to then know Christ personally, but couldn't really say it was grounded until outside university. So we're not the kind of guys that in university were like that in fellowships. Yes. So that was my background from that point of view, and also from a professional point of view was also then went to university. First went to primary school, and then Titcombe College, which is a school. So if you go to this school, and I keep preaching about this school, guys, it's so the missionaries started first a hospital, which today is one of the best hospitals in that region, which is called Equa Hospital, and they still send missionary doctors to come there from time to time. Yes, and then they set up a school which was called Titcombe College, and I what I remember as a child in Form 1 in Titcombe College was a school where you had about 4 or 5 football pitches, where you had about 2 to 4 handball pitches. Where you had
that time.
Where you had a dam, which belonged to the school. Where you had an orchard. Do you know what an orchard is? You had an orchard that was the size of maybe from here to Solid Rock, and then to FRSC, and then where they planted grape.
How's the volume now? Is volume good now? All right, good.
And then they had the engineering and all of that. It was
Fantastic.
Like a community, a local community, and was light to the community in that space. So I always thank God for giving me the privilege to come through that family, and also give me the privilege to then meet the kind of people that I have met subsequently. So I was never really a bad boy, if you see what I mean, but I was so
you're talking about your professional.
Yes. So professionally, I then first degree read English and history at the University of Ilorin, and then finished that really uneventful, and then subsequently the mode then was that you go and do a master's. So I think I did my NYSC in Benue. That's another story. In Benue, there was this place called Oju, which had endemic yellow fever. Was where I was posted to in Benue. So once I landed in the place, one day I said, no, I ain't staying here. And then went back and we came back to do my graduation, and then changed it back to Makurdi. Worked in Makurdi as a teacher during the NYSC. Met a lot of beautiful people in Makurdi, and then got to know that part. And then after that, then went to Ife to do my master's in international relations, and subsequently then started work by chance during one of those ASU strikes. So ASU strikes have been on for a long time. So during one of those ASU strikes,
they just advise students to go. They released a statement. They advise students to go travel, learn a trade. They say learn a trade, learn something.
So imagine the problem which has been there for how many years? 10, 15, 20 years?
Way more.
And it's still the same. It's still there. Yeah. So and then I did my master's, and then I then did an MBA, and subsequently came into advertising. Was where work started, into marketing. And
there was a time you were with MTN.
Yes. So before I started the entrepreneurship journey, I was actually with MTN. So I was with MTN for about 6 or 7 years, just before MTN launched. And then MTN launched, and then stayed with MTN for about 6 years post-launch.
You were with them before they launched?
Yes. So it was a very beautiful experience, which is before, you see, just before you launch, is before you open the SIM cards, and people started, which was 20,000 naira for a SIM card. And remember those Ericsson phones that you had to open the class that. So and then launched, stayed there, enjoyed my stay there for a while. That also helped me in terms of getting some grounding in technology, and then marketing, before I then started my own company with 1 or 2 people. So pretty
very humble way of packaging. This story is, Pastor Tunji has succeeded in packaging it in such a humble way, but I'll allow him pass. Now, Pastor Tunji, so let's start with the questions. I don't know how you perceive yourself, but this is how I perceive you and a lot of us. You're not ordinary, even though you don't see yourself as that, but when my spiritual father, Pastor Kunawale, doesn't talk so much, doesn't have many words. And so when I began to tell him about my connect with you and all of that, he looked at me and said, he said, Pastor Tunji, he said, he's a good man. And if you get Pickens endorsement, you are endorsed. now, my point is, I have 2 questions, but let me ask the first one. My point is, you're very different. And I can pick the areas where you're different. For example, you're too cool for a Nigerian. We're having this conversation is as if 2 nations are seated. I'm Nigeria, you're not Nigeria. You're too cool, naturally cool. Aside from being cool, you're very kind. You have faith in people. Now, having faith in people is not common. It's not a common trait that men of your generation have. Most of the times when men of your generation want to speak, to the younger generation, it's always, disdain and all of that. But you don't have that kind of vibe at all. Like, you sometimes you look like a lie. Sometimes it's like this is not true. So how did you turn out to be this kind of man that is completely, like, you're just completely different from you're different from your nation, you're different from your peers, and it's so stressless. I'm sure you might even be surprised what was he really saying, but it's so stressless. How did you get there? Like, why are you like this? You're in a place where I'm not even trying to, like, let Jesus come. I don't even think I can be like this. I envy it, but I don't know if it's possible. So how did you build yourself to be completely different from the madness and the craziness of your environment?
I think that I will, now that you're making me realize it, I'll give a lot of credit to the way God has dealt with me over time. And I don't know, there's a calmness. I call it calm. And at the time, I was thinking, if I'm writing, I have about 1 or 2 books I want to write, and one of them is just titled Calm.
I'll be the first to write it, man. I need it.
I say, it's the calmness to just understand that there's nothing, and the Yoruba says, there's nothing that is coming from up there.
Wow.
That the ground cannot contain. And if you embed that Yoruba mindset in the Christian mindset, there's nothing that can happen that God cannot control.
Wow.
Nothing.
Wow.
Absolutely nothing. So I've seen, and I've seen different things. I've seen my brother pass at a young age, 40, in his 40s.
Wow.
And through that experience, it's just the calmness. And I know that, growing up with my folks and with my siblings, it was always that you were the one that was put in charge, maybe as a firstborn. Was put in charge, and then there was a certain responsibility that was expected of you. But I believe that the Holy Spirit helps me in a way to kind of encode whatever I take from you, and then encode it in my own way and give it to you differently. And there's a book which I read, and I tell people to read. I think it's titled "The Meaning of Life." I think it was written by a psychoanalyst, Frankel. Yes, I've forgotten his first name. But Frankel is spelled Frankl, who is like a relative of Sigmund Freud.
Wow.
And the main theme of that book is that you have the authority and the responsibility to respond no matter what anybody does to you or any situation. The authority and the responsibility to do whatever you want to do with what you are given is yours. Nobody else but yours. So if someone slaps you, someone insults you, someone puts you down, it is your responsibility to respond. And in responding, you can choose the way you want to respond. So if someone does something to you and you respond in a way that he doesn't expect, you have taken what is the normal and you've turned it to something that is not normal, and therefore you've made it to be in a manner of speaking what he doesn't expect. So there's that calmness that I also cannot explain, and that is the truth. I can't explain it, but I know it is something that the Holy Spirit has given me for a very long time, which is and then tested that and molded that. So the love for young people was molded in that space, but pastoring teenagers also gave that further calm, because at the end of the day, you see people, young people, teenagers who were bent like this when the first time you met them, and then you saw them 1 year, 2 years later, and they were like this. And you said you would tell yourself that this is not me. I didn't change this person. This is the Holy Spirit understanding. Guys, let's face it. There is nothing that will happen to you as a child of God that God doesn't know about. So if you walk out of this place, something happens, don't worry. It is just respond to it in a manner that I am a child of God. So come on, what is going to happen?
Pastor, tell me the truth.
Yes.
Tell me the truth. I want to ask you a question. I've had meetings with you where I would just come and talk. Tell you my plans for the year and all of that. And I've also seen you listen to other people. And every time you're listening, you give all of us the impression that we have sense, like your mind when you are listening, because good people, crazy people, mad people, different kind of people speak to you. And I see you give the same peaceful reaction.
And I'll tell you the truth. The truth is listening is something that you have to learn.
Wow.
Because it's not normal to listen. Because listening means that, natural, the way we are naturally is when you're speaking to someone, you've already constructed the response before the person finishes. So you've already landed, you know what you want to say. And they just, say it, finish. And then I say what I want to say. That's where we are naturally. But so by training.
All right, sorry, first I asked the question again. How do you do it? Because you make everybody feel like a star. I'm talking and I might just keep talking. By the next year, we're going to build a cathedral. After I build the cathedral, we'll reach the ends of the earth. And I see the peace with which you listen. And then I found out that that's how you listen to everybody. So how do you do?
So I learned again in my career early days. I had the privilege of.
You're saying something. You had a train of thought about listening.
Yes, exactly.
How listening is
exactly.
Normally, people want to talk.
People want to talk.
They have what they want.
Exactly.
To say.
People have what they want to say, and also because when someone is speaking, and they speak something which is either against your own belief, or against your train of thought, or against your conviction, the natural thing is to respond.
Okay.
But I take it to heart that no human being is totally stupid.
Wow.
No human being.
Wow.
So when I'm speaking to you, I am trying to understand first to because I know that you are going to require of me to respond. If I'm not listening well, I will not truly be able to respond well. So if I'm not listening well, and then I say something when I respond to you, you are likely to say, this man was not listening when I said this thing. Now he just
so sometimes not listening actually doesn't qualify us to respond.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. And secondly is also the fact that the listener learns from what the speaker is saying, one way or the other. And when you learn, that adds to your own body of knowledge, as it were. And I think the last thing I wanted to say about that is also that when someone is speaking, it's just respect. You have to respect the person.
Wow.
And part of that respect is that, allow the person to speak.
Wow.
Yeah, allow a child to speak.
Wow.
One of the challenges that we've had over generations, especially the 60s generation, the 50s generation, is that we killed the assertiveness in young people.
Wow.
Because we never believed that young people should have a contrary opinion to our opinion.
Wow.
We sometimes even don't believe that they should have an opinion until they're old. So and that is counter the way that people are. People must have an opinion. So you allow them to speak. But I must also confess to you that I'm a human being. And especially as a pastor, someone on our ministers platform sent out a video of a pastor who was on a Sunday. You know what a Sunday is for a pastor, especially before this all this corona thing started. Is that so? For me, I leave the house at about 6:15. And then get to church for my first meeting is 6:45.
Wow.
The first meeting 6:45. Then the next meeting 7, which is ministers' prayer meeting, workers' meeting, and then after 7, the first.
Can you guys hear how these men go to church and you bounce into church 9 o'clock and you say you're the last day.
So the first service starts after the workers' meeting, after the first service, Sunday school, after Sunday school, the second service. So let's say the second service has ended by about 12:30. And then you go to the office and you sit in the office for about 3 hours. and then you're seeing people.
Wow.
Counseling and doing all of that. So this particular pastor in that video was tired. Had gone through all of this, and then one guy came to him, and as he was coming, it was oh yeah, you're gonna ask for school fees or something like that. No, please. Oh, no. So he shut the guy down, and the guy waited, and I think the guy said to him, I'm not actually asking for anything. I think the guy either brought a message, either a message from God or something, and said, I just wanted to say A, B, C, D. So sometimes when we've done that for a very long time, we get tired. And when you get tired and practically sitting down physically, you are dozing. And when you are dozing and the person is telling you something, you're not concentrating at that point. And therefore, sometimes, and I have to confess to that, sometimes you're saying, get to the end of the story. So what really happened? So what do you want? What exactly, So, but again, you need to sit back as a pastor and think that is not really right. So it's either you manage yourself in a manner that you don't need to be having those 3 hour, 4 hour, and those long hours, and then you're able to concentrate. If you devote 2 hours, make it 2 quality hours rather than 6 hours or 7 hours where you are half dozing sometimes or you're half sleeping sometimes. So but it's very important to listen, Zach. It is so important. A lack of listening is why some marriages are terribly going downstream, because some people, unfortunately, the way they've grown up, were never taught to listen. We're never taught to listen. And that is a thing to say that a lot of things you have to learn. You either learn them by book, or you learn by somebody's experience, or you learn by a terrible experience. So, a woman is saying, I need time to rest. I need time to rest. But you are interpreting it, because you're not listening, as she's lazy. She doesn't like to cook. She's lazy. She doesn't like to cook. She's lazy. She doesn't like to cook. And by the time that then, you then have a serious, or a woman is saying, whatever you bring will manage. But whatever you bring will manage. But whatever you reach will manage. But listening means let her finish the but, so you know what it is. Because after that has gone on for 2-3 years, you'll be whatever you bring is not enough.
because the bot was more things she wanted to say.
A lot of things she wanted to say, which you have not allowed her to say. And it's not always that. It's also the other way as well. Sometimes some women don't listen to men. So, but listening is an art. You have to learn it. You have to learn, and I believe that the Holy Spirit uses that to teach us patience. Patience, to say, listen, be patient.
And the Bible says we should be slow to speak, swift to hear.
Exactly. So when some people say, okay, I hear you, and which is why when they teach you listening, they say that you clarify when you listen. So you've spoken to me for 10 minutes. It's okay. So I'm clarifying that what you said is that you want to do this. Okay. And you say, yes, that is it. Okay. I'm also, okay, you said that this, yes, that it is. So it shows that I've listened and I've understood what you're saying. And then I am now in a position to internalize and give you my own counsel. And I mean, when I listen to what the sessions that I have with you are sessions where I am actively 101% interested in what we're talking about. So I'm listening actively. I'm listening with my whole body. So that when we finish, I need to sink it into my spirit, and I then need to then say, okay, this is where this is going. And some of the things we speak about is not 1 year, it's not 2 years, it's not 3 years. But you have to listen to see very well where this is going. So it's an art that we all should learn. Is the bottom line.
This is a whole lot. This is a whole lot. Yes, you can ask your questions. This is a whole lot. You said a whole lot. You said listening qualifies you to respond.
Yes.
Because sometimes it can be frustrating when you speak to someone and the person gives you, the person responds, and the person doesn't hit it.
Yes.
And now it's looking like you are the one not receiving the advice. But you know this advice is devoid of some information that you wish the person got from you. And so you are frustrated.
Exactly. Because in our listening, if you're not listening well, you edit.
Wow.
You edit. Yeah, you edit. So sometimes as I'm listening to you, and then you say, oh, my name is, and then sometimes what I'm hearing is because I've pressed the edit button, and then suddenly it comes back again. So what I'm saying is that I want. So how am I going to join the to what I've heard? I've intentionally just blotted it out. I didn't listen to you. That
means listening really would definitely aid productivity.
Listening in anything would aid productivity. In business, for example, in marketing, for example, the things that a consumer or user of your product will say, and if you listen well, there's some things they will not say. But you know, again, that people talk verbally and people also talk non-verbally. So you must listen to all of those. You must listen to all of those. So sometimes you don't catch what someone is saying with the eye or with the neck. And listening means that I listen to what you're saying verbally, and I'm also listening to what you have not verbalized by your body language, by the way you have responded to my questions. And I don't think anyone can go far without understanding listening, because by the time you get to the end of the queue, you realize that you've missed so many things down the line because you never really listen.
That means we can't even be great leaders if we're not great listeners.
We cannot be great leaders if we're not great listeners. We cannot be great husbands, fathers, wives. We cannot be great professionals if we don't listen. And we cannot be great human beings if we don't listen.
Oh my God.
That is the bottom line. That is the bottom line.
Oh my God. Pastor, these are some of the very things that appear simple, but that mean a lot in life.
Yeah. So simplicity is very relative. Is there really anything simple? If you think about it. So if you look at the way God has made the human being, if you look at the way your head turns, the way you respond, if a doctor or a surgeon tells you all the things that are playing out in your brain that makes your eye to look like this and recognize the person, then you know that there's nothing really simple. There's nothing simple. It's simplicity or simple. Being simple is a perception of the recipient. You're the one that thinks it's simple. So it's the same like if someone says, okay, come and solve this equation, and then you got to get there and say answer, say it's simple for you. For someone else, say I have to go and pray and fast before I can solve this equation.
Wow.
So which is why you have to have empathy. So when you listen, you have empathy, which means put yourself in the other person's shoes. Why is a person struggling with this simple question or this simple challenge? Maybe their background. Why is this struggling to understand that marriage means that you forgive the other party even before they commit the sin? Why is it struggling with the fact that you give your everything as a man, as you know, as Jesus did? Why is it struggling with that? Because if you understand that it may be simple for you because the Holy Spirit has helped you to internalize that, but it may not be simple for him because he may just be at class 1 of that school and he's still learning submission. He's still learning love. He's still learning So it's still, so we're at different stages, and that's why simplicity is relative.
Wow.
Maybe simple for you. So when you preach it, you are preaching it to people, and you are expecting, and you are asking them to please rise up to the next level. Don't forever be at that elementary level. So that I've known you for 1 year, you've grown from this level to this level. Oh yes, the people husbands that people wrote off as terrible husbands never will do good. But because the people grew gradually and started to understand the principles, they became excellent husbands.
Wow.
So empathy is very important. It is something that everybody should have. Because if you think about it, we come from different backgrounds. Some of us were carrying eggs and orange to sell for our parents. Some of us were taken to school in a car from point to point, and we had all that life. But we have to understand and let our children know that this is life. Some people cannot eat 3 times in a day. So that thing that you are throwing away is food for someone. Some families, so what we've just had at the dining table now, some families will eat this over 2 days. The people who are hiking in a bus or Marua or whatever, they're human beings. They were born by human beings. They've not done anything wrong. You know what, you too should also try this, because at the end of the day, we're all children of God. We need to teach empathy, because empathy helps us in life. It helps us in our professional life. It helps us in our ministry. It helps us in our marriage and every other thing that we do. And it all starts from listening.
Wow. Why I'm so amazed about the things you're sharing is that for me, I'm a student of success. And what I mean by success is when life is working, when anything is working. And when I mean success, is not popularity or fame. It's just when anything is working, it's success. And whenever I see success, I'm a student of success, because I know that success is not fluke. And I know that the things that birth success don't look like success. They are ignorable. They don't look like this. Success look beautiful and fine. But the things that make it up are not as fun and interesting as success. And so why I'm enjoying this conversation is that for me, these are some of the things that has made you who you are, and that has, given you the success in wherever you're from. And I'm really, really excited about the topic. Now, I have 2 questions, two questions, the last ones. The last one is the one I had in my dream. Simple question. I'll ask that one, so that the talk will end on a note. So I think aside from the faith you have in people and all of that, I think one of the things that connect me to you is that you genuinely love God. And sometimes when people get to your age, sometimes that love kind of drops. And even though they are engaged in church, there are other things there. It's just like, it's the religious part of it, the activity part of it. Just to have that religion part ticked, that they just want to tick that part. But from my engagement with you, it's not just that. And anywhere you see and you feel the presence of God. I remember the other guy, the other man, Apostle John, who you met, and you told me about him. You told him about me.
Exactly.
And because you just felt like these guys have some connect, and
because you're doing a lot for the kind of things that this generation truly needs, and both of you are doing that in the way that God has actually sent you to do that.
So for me, the question I want to ask is, because if God wills, which I think he does will, I'll get as old as you, and
by the grace of God, even older.
How did you sustain this genuine? Because it's easy to assume that one will have it when one is old, but there is a reason why you have it. How are you able to sustain this? And being in a very mega church system that you serve, a system that if one is not careful, one can just be carried away because the system has genuine activities in it that needs to be done. And if one is not careful, one can be lost in that, and the genuineness of loving the Lord and knowing the Lord is lost. How come you didn't lose it? Because I don't want to lose it, and a lot of people don't want to lose it.
The connection, you must always go back to your connection. You must always go back to your essence and what makes you. So really, what are you looking for in life? What are you looking? Because some of the things that, as the Bible says, is is when you're tempted, and when the thing that you're looking for is so big and so mighty, and then you don't know when you begin to do certain things that is more. And unfortunately, society encourages that. Society allows you to gravitate towards fame, recognition, awards, rather than doing things in them. So the way I test myself is that I tell myself that if you did this and nobody knows till Jesus comes, are you still going to be happy that you did it?
Wow.
So if you do something and you can tell yourself that, yes, I'll be happy. So if you did something for someone and they turn out, they're happy about it, and they turn out good, and nobody knows, and that and you can tell yourself on your own, not with people, that yes, I'm happy, even if nobody knows. Then you are beginning to get to. So it's that essence that you try to connect to. And the times and the truth of the matter, guys, is that everybody makes mistakes. Nobody is perfect. And the truth is that you always try to correct yourself, and you also have people that you listen to. So if you have anyone, I mean, I've known you for years, I've known some of the people here for years. If there's anybody that you have a relationship with who really cannot be herded in and controlled, and if the person is telling you, I'm a man of my words, nobody can control me concerning, run away from that kind of person. Just run away from that kind of person. As a woman, if your fiance is someone who nobody can control, you are heading for disaster. And if the other thing is the same way, the other way. So I just try to envision and look at myself and say, I mean, remember where we went to for the burial, for my mom's burial? Remember that village?
Yes, I remember.
Time after time, I tell myself, Tunji Adeyinka came from a village. Remember the bridge to that village? Remember that bridge?
Yeah, yes.
Remember the bridge to the village. The state government, in their wisdom, has not considered it sensible to tar the road on that bridge. So, Tunji, pour cold water on yourself. Don't rise too much. Remember the village. Remember the bridge to that village. Forever, that is who you are. So that kind of situates and helps me to say, let it go. It's not little bear, it's not that big. So everyone must take themselves back to the village. You must take yourself back to where you're coming from, where necessarily other people may not know about you, but you know about yourself. You know where God took you from. You know where you are the first generation university graduates in your family. You are the first generation Christian in your family. You are the first generation at this level in your family doing this kind of job or whatever it is. You have to always rewind and see, this is where I'm coming from. I didn't get here by myself, and then therefore I must take out the yeast from the flour, because yeast makes flour to swell. So when it is over swelling, I must pipe low. I say that is just the pipe low. Take it easy. What is the big deal? What is it? And when we think about it and we then take this to government and take it to leadership and everything, you see that it's just that lack of a spirit. Someone who is a politician, who has this kind of humble beginning of that ground. Suddenly, because you're in politics and then there's so much money flowing in and so on and so forth, you went there to represent a constituency, you forget the people that you go to represent. And as you continue to do that, you come there, during Christmas and you distribute goodies and stuff. You don't know that the people are hungry and they're looking at you. So one day when you've done all of that, if you don't bring yourself back to the village, the people will bring you back to the village. So you always have to consider, if I do this, my father, who is my father? What is okay? My father, civil servant, level this. Make it take it easy.
Wow.
Just let's take it easy.
Wow. I learn many times with phrases. That's how I learn. That's how phrases for me, they're like injections. And that's how I do life. And everything you have said, the phrase that stayed with me and I'm going to pray about is don't forget.
Exactly.
Don't forget.
Exactly.
And how easy it is to forget. Like, we need to tell ourselves and put it like a vaccine in our hearts and say, don't. Because when we forget, we become crazy.
We become mad, and then you want to. Someone has cheated you on a contract, and you look at it and you say, "Well, on the balance of probabilities, money, how much is it?" But if you forget, we'll die here. That spirit of we'll die here over money, not we'll die here over Christ. We'll die here over money. We'll die here over bags, over shoes. We'll die. You will die, and then life will continue. Yes, you will die here. Life will continue. One of our senior pastors, just was telling someone, and I learned from that an experience. He comes from a village, but he's today a lawyer, well known all over the world, has an excellent practice, is wealthy and all of that. And he says, I think the last time he said he went to his village one of those times, and he saw somebody that they went to primary school together. They went to primary school together. The guy is still in the village.
Wow.
He saw the guy in the village.
Wow.
Same age mates.
Okay.
And he saw how the guy looked.
Wow.
Village scope. So those kind of things bring you back to remember where you're coming from.
Just thank God.
To thank God that, yes, the difference between this guy and me is the grace of God. I went to school, but there's a lot of people who went to school and they're still like this. So you always have to.
Don't forget.
You must not forget. You must not.
Don't forget your pastors. Don't forget your wife. Sometimes you can forget your wife.
Yes, exactly.
Because you just forget that you guys were looking for money to pay rent when you first got married. You forget that she borrowed you. For me, I can forget that my wife borrowed me money to even print the IV for our wedding. She was the one that gave me the money.
Can you imagine? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Don't forget.
And then you just think you're not a big man of God.
Yes, don't forget. And don't forget is not just that it's a memoriam. It's also that it must always reboot you. So when your computer is going like this, that must reboot you to come back again and say, "Wow, okay, take it easy, take it easy." So when your wife says something to you, sometimes say, "Okay, no problem."
Sometimes we even forget that we're sinners. And then we look at other sinners and we're very judgmental. Exactly. You just forget that.
Exactly.
That he saved you from you just forget.
Yes.
I should tell him what see the clothes.
See the clothes they're wearing.
And then you just forget.
Don't let them get to this place, my friend. Don't forget. Don't forget. Without Jesus in your life.
Wow.
Don't forget. I think it's a very important thing that keeps you grounded, keeps you grounded, because everything in this world, they're colluding to just make you blow and forget where you're coming from.
Okay. Wow.
9 already.
So let me. Oh my God, amazing conversations. Amazing conversation, amazing thoughts. I'll have to listen to this again and again and not forget it. I think I'm going to ask you, this is my last question. So, for example, when anybody asks me, what is the quality of a man what do you see that will make me say this is a man? Like, what are those qualities for me?
Yeah.
And I'm not flattering.
Yeah.
One of the things I'll see that will say this person is a man is someone like you. Your calmness, your confidence, your confidence doesn't get close to arrogance, and your simplicity doesn't smell lack of confidence. It's just perfect, exact. I see the connect between you and your wife.
Yeah.
I see that you're a very great entrepreneur doing well in your space. I see how you're saving. There's no part of your life that I know of that is not going well.
Some are not going well, my brother. But they
so
well.
to speak. But so
I get you though.
The question I want to ask you is, that's for me. For you, what are the qualities you see? That was the question I was asking in my dream. And my final question. What are the qualities you see in someone? Maybe a young man or an old man that you will really say, man, this is a man.
It's a man.
So, like 5 qualities. What makes a man for you?
The first 2 are responsibility, accountability. Those are the first 2. Responsibility, accountability. What does it mean of responsibility? Don't blame someone else for anything that truly is within your space of control. Wow. Responsibility. Responsibility means I made a mistake. Sorry, I made a mistake. I didn't see it. Sorry, I didn't see it. Responsibility means that it is within my space. I should have done it. And then I should be able to say I should have done it. That's one. Accountability means that everybody answers to somebody. So as a man, you understand that you answer to somebody. As a man, you understand that you answer to your wife, you answer to your family, you answer to God, and all of that.
Wow.
And responsibility also covers ownership. Own it, right? Own it means that own the good things, the bad things that you also own it.
Wow.
Yes, own it. So it means that don't give excuse. Don't live your life giving excuse. Men don't give excuses.
Wow.
Yeah, men don't give excuses. We're not perfect, but we take it on the chest. Yeah, we take it on the chest. So you need to own it. That will be the third thing that is very critical. We said responsibility. We said accountability.
Own it.
We said own it. And then there's also fidelity. Fidelity meaning don't be red today and black tomorrow. Let people know the path. Let them say, if someone say, it passed through this. No, it will never pass through this place. It will never pass through this place. No, that is the kind of place that it will pass. Don't let them come and say that sometimes it's like this, sometimes it's like this. He's a good person, but so that would be the fourth, yeah. And the fifth reason I would look at someone and call the person a man is if they are good and strong enough to be vulnerable. That's the last thing. They're vulnerable, meaning that they don't believe that they know everything.
Wow.
They know what they know and what they don't know.
Wow.
So sometimes they cry. Sometimes they
looking for answers.
Sometimes they don't have all the answers.
Yeah.
So vulnerability means that they can also get things wrong sometimes. So that you don't come expecting the perfect figure, that everything is perfect about them, and that if they make a small mistake, you say, no, they are not allowed to make mistakes. So those are the things that I look at and I say, yes, this is a man.
Wow.
It's important as men that we're responsible, that even when the camera is not watching us, that is responsibility. When the camera is not watching you, you are still accountability means that you know ultimately that you're going to write a report to someone watching you all the time. The third one I said was
own it.
Own it, yes. So which means that guy, they give you a job to do, whether it's in your work, in church, in whatever it is, you know, make it big. This is your office. Is this small?
Wow.
Own that office. Decorate that small place. Fill it up. So that the person that gives you say, look at what I give this guy.
Wow. Wow.
And then suddenly says, oh, true. I will give you something bigger. If you can do this kind of thing on this small space, own it. Don't tell me, why did pastor say I'm the one that should be doing closing prayer all the time?
Wow.
Yeah, why did pastor say I'm the one that should go and follow up that guy? Why? I don't think pastor likes me. I don't. So come on, own it. Own it. Whatever it is, own it. And then own it. Once you shine in it, and the story I always look at is the story of the talent, and I look at the guy who got the one talent. You know, there's no way that he would have been blamed if he converted the one talent to, because that's what they gave you now. They give you one and then you multiplied it, but he simply wasn't going to own it. I know the kind of person that you are.
Oh my God!
You're not a nice person.
Wow.
You want to reap where you don't want to sow. So that own it is very important. Fidelity is important, which is, let's know who you are now. Don't be like this in church and like this in the office. Say, I'm looking for Chris. Which of the Chris? Chris X. Chris X. Somebody like you is looking for Chris X. Are you sure it's Chris X you're looking for? Yes, I'm looking for Chris X. No, you cannot be Chris X. Maybe he's Chris in the other office you're looking for. So, fidelity, very important. And then at the end of the day, just make it. You don't have all the answers. You know, be God now. You're not God. Be vulnerable.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, wow. It's been full, man. It's been full. Let me know if I can take one. Okay, first I think we should just I don't even know what to say. So let me know what you feel. Okay, there's been a lot of stuff, a whole lot of stuff. Okay, but maybe let me know first, second line, tell me how it's been. Then third line, if you have a question, you can ask a question, or just add something, and then ask a question, whatever. So we just have like 5 minutes to ask, questions. To take some questions, that would be good.
I like, what I see in this church, and I see the sense of responsibility, the sense of ownership, and I see the way that you take people. And once they've given their lives to Christ, and then they accept to take the gift of the Holy Spirit, you begin to entrust them with responsibilities, and you're not expecting or waiting that the person will come and say, I can't climb. I've already given you the thing. I've faced somewhere else, so climb, because you have to climb, and that is the way that we become who God wants us to become. We must take responsibilities. We must give people responsibilities. We must allow people to grow by giving them those responsibilities. I think that is critical.
But you're talking about owning it. Your story and your lifestyle. There's something you do. You make you put sense in ordinary. You put a lot of sense in ordinary. Most times there's no sense in ordinary. Ordinary, ordinary usually is usually discarded.
Yes.
Ordinary is usually not used.
Mm.
But people like you, and a lot of us are ordinary. But
yes.
but you make us know ordinary is enough.
Excellent.
You know,
excellent. Just show up.
Wow.
Yeah, just show up. You don't have to come with the brass heart and with all the talent and gifts in the world and with all of that. Just show up.
Wow.
Are you here? Yes, I'm here.
Wow.
But that's what God is asking for.
Wow.
Yeah, just show up.
Wow. You don't have to have 10 arms.
You don't have to. You don't have to. If you have 10 arms, they'll take you somewhere and then do deliverance for you. Just show up. Show up. God is looking for people who will show up, because once you show up, then God can say, okay, yeah, this one is ready. Like Gideon's army is just, let's look for people that will show up, not people that are drinking water like.
Wow. A whole lot of people, some are saying there's no question, that so clear nuggets, great nuggets. Thank you, sir.
Excellent.
Wow. Pastor G, we're going to have more of this. We're going to have more.
Bring it on, as I said to you, bring it on, because it's important to internalize some of these things, and also because that mistakes that you've made in life that you can openly admit to, and then say you don't want other people to then pass through the same kind of and make those same mistakes. So I've really enjoyed this chat, and I love the work that God is doing through everyone in the church here.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's been such an amazing time. And I'm really looking forward to it. You promised that you pay visit this month.
Yes, by the grace of God. I'll confirm that this Sunday, because I will. Yes, I'll confirm that this Sunday.
Okay.
And then by the grace of God, I'm looking forward to that. We haven't been here, although I've been worshiping with you guys from time to time, because I watch some of your services, but physically I haven't been here because of the lockdown and all of that. But I hear great things that are happening in church. I see great things happening.
Can we just
thank you very much, my people. I'm very grateful. Thanks for having me.
Wow. Thank you so much.
And God bless you.